So it's been 30 years. 30 years.
40.
Oh, 40.
Yeah.
Gosh. I can't do math today.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even swimming my dad's nuts then, but I'm kidding. So, did you think all these years later you'd still be here talking about this film?
Not a clue. I'm 80 years old. I didn't expect to be here at all. I shot when I was 41. That was 4 years ago.
Really?
Oh my gosh, crazy.
That's
Crazy.
funny.
So I guess I can ask you all, what was the audition process like for each and every one of you?
For me, I went in, usually, you don't know, but in show business, you have a bunch of callbacks. You go in a bunch of times. You keep going back, trying to get the role. I walked in, it was my first audition, and I walked in and there was a table of all the executives and Danny Steinman, I mean, right off the bat. So when I walked in, I did a scene or two with Danny Steinman, and then Frank Mancuso, who was the producer, whose father was the head of Paramount, asked me to do an improv of being murdered. So I said, okay, can I have a second? So I left the room and I prepared myself. I kicked the door open, walked in, did my scene, and all I remember was I finished lying on the floor, and I looked up and all the men at the table were like, so I thought I either did really great or I'm terrible and I lost this job, because you don't know. They didn't say anything, they were just so stunned. And then they spoke to me a little bit and then I left. And this is the first time ever in my entire career that by the time I got home, I got the job. I mean, that
All right, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I had no audition because I barely had a part. I did a film for Danny Steinman, a small part in Savage Streets. And I played the character two ways. I played it comedically and then I played it straight. So Danny was aware that I had done stand-up and improv and all that. So he told me that he'd like to use me in other films. I said, fine. I'd come to California as a drummer first, slipped into comedy, stand-up comedy, then film. So after a while, I opened a business of my own. I quit show business. My brother, who's a director, called, said, Danny Steinman shooting Friday, the fifth installment. So I called him and he blasted me because he couldn't find me. So he said, I just have two parts left. Tiny, the guy at the beginning of the film that opens the door to let Tommy out, and the cocaine scene. Can you make them one guy? So I wrote the part where he says the Younger Institute of Mental Health has just emptied his last bed. That brought those two characters together. Melanie hated me back then.
still do.
But she loves me now. Anyway.
I did, I hated him on the set.
Yeah, on the set. So the first scene I did was open the door and my line was Tommy, and that's it. So Danny said, have fun. So I opened the door and I'm looking at the camera, and of course that's when I said, beautiful, sit there, I don't give a shit. Okay. Then Melanie came out, and I was kind of looking her up and down, not trying to steal center because I wasn't even sure if I was in the scene. But she stopped in the middle of the scene. Danny said, what's the matter? She said, he's making me nervous. Okay. So anyway, when she walked away, that's what I did anytime, just to give it a little shot. Anyway, then we got to the cocaine scene, the little back and forth, and then Danny, they took the door off the side of the car, set up the camera. I climbed in the car because that was a stuntman that did all the circles. And Danny said to me, have fun. And I really knew that this would be the last thing I did on film, and I just wung it. I just put the coke up in the thing and I just did it. And he said, he was behind the camera, trying not to laugh, and he wanted to do a safety shot, do it again. And I begged him, because I said, I'll never do it that way again. That was just improvising. So that was that. So long story, but I didn't have to audition because he would have used me anyway, and I'm kind of happy I didn't have a bigger part, because to me that was more fun. I didn't have to worry about lines, I just did whatever I wanted, so for me that was a blast. That's my story.
Now, the director, Danny Steinman, has a reputation for porno films, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did he ask you to do anything like that?
Well, that was a couple of days later.
That was kind of.
That was a private screening.
And he said, just have fun.
Well, you still did have to worry about lines, though.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, I don't remember the first audition, really. The second, the callback, I was there with Danny Steinman, and he asked me to look on the desk and pretend I was looking at my dead son. So we did that scene, and then that was it. And a couple days later, I got a call from my agent saying I got the part. Then I had to figure out, well, who's this Jason guy anyway? So then I watched Brooker's film, Part 3, first one that wore the mask. And I watched that film and I thought, oh my God, what did I get myself into here? But that's my story.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would do a showcase at the Fountain Theater in Hollywood once a week, a 5-minute scene. And I did it religiously for 2 years. And one night that I did it, Pamela Basker and Fern Champion, who were the casting directors on Repetition, which was the name of the movie, asked me if I could play a hillbilly. I thought about it, and I thought of a friend of my brother's who was real goofy, a big idiot. And so I kind of portrayed his energy for that evening in an improv. And they gave me a call to come in the following day to pick up sides for Junior. So I went in, got the sides, came back the next day, and Danny Steinman was there. So I was able to work directly with Danny on my audition. And when I left, Danny said to me, hey kid, it's gonna be nice working with you. I was like, oh my God, my head was like exploding. But then I was like, okay, I don't have the part yet, do I? You know, and Fern Champion and Pamela Basker said, okay, you have a callback tomorrow for Frank Mancuso Jr., who was the producer of the movie. So I studied that night, I come in and, you know, you're a little nervous, heart fluttering, and Danny comes up to me, hey Frank, this is the kid I told you about. I mean, I love working with him. I'm like, okay, reel it in, you don't have it yet, you know, and did it, and they were both busting up, and needless to say, I got the part. So that's how it happened. Thank God for a showcase, you know.
So I can't imagine the filming process, you know, being nothing but fun. Do any of you have any favorite moments, that you would like to share with us? Funny or ones that stick out to you?
The most fun for me was the chainsaw scene. I couldn't keep a straight face, so I had to really get myself together to shoot that because we rehearsed. We shot it on Halloween night, the 31st. And I rehearsed with Dick Warlock, who was a very famous stuntman and stunt coordinator, and he organized the whole thing. And he knew I wasn't a stunt person, but I'm working with Tom Morga, who's another famous stunt person. So they trained me, and then they handed me this chainsaw, and it was real, and it was heavy. And then I lifted it, it was heavy, and then they turned it on. And now this vibrating heavy thing, I have to pick up and fight with, and then I have to throw it. So we do all the rehearsal, I'm nervous, I'm now getting comfortable, and the last thing Dick Warlock says to me before they said action was, don't hurt my boy, meaning Tom Morga. Don't slide, because you could kill him again. And then they went, action! But that was the most fun for me because I had never done a stunt like that. And I learned a lot, and I learned from the best.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought we were going in order.
However you want to do it.
Come on.
Just don't kill me.
I don't have anything to say.
It goes
That's all right.
1, 2.
I got Dick so excited. He just...
With horn, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mine was not the most fun part. It was the most embarrassing. Rebecca Wood played Lana, and outside a place called the Rock Store is where we shot the scene, the cocaine scene, and her coming out. So after I had called for her, we all went inside the Rock Store, Danny Steinman, myself, Rebecca Wood, some of the crew. There must have been 8, 9, 10 people. It was a cold night, California cold. So we're in there and they're setting up things outside. And Danny said to me, how's your brother? My brother is Tom DeSimone, the director, Hell Night and What's Not. I said, he's doing good. I said, recently he called me up because he was shooting a scene with Ray Sharkey. And I loved Ray Sharkey in The Idolmaker because being a drummer, it reminded me of my younger days struggling with bands and whatnot. And I really wanted to just meet him and tell him how much I enjoyed his performance. My brother said, well, I hope he'll remember meeting you because he's so loaded on heroin, we're having a lot of trouble working with him. I'm not trying to put him down, but we all know the poor guy died of AIDS because of that. It's a sad situation. So anyway, I'm talking, telling Danny the story, and I said, when I got there, he was shooting a scene where he was wearing just like pajamas and no shoes. He stepped on a broken ashtray, and I said he was so bombed out on heroin that he never even felt it. I said, it's really sad. And Rebecca was sitting there, and she said, Ray Sharkey? I said, yeah. I said, he's so blasted on junk, it's sad. She said, my husband, Ray Sharkey?
She was married to him.
She was married to him. And the whole place, just a pall fell over the place. Danny just fell back. So I just said, oh, gee, I didn't know what to say. The chance of her being married to him. And she said, many people think that, but he just had a problem with Valium. And I said,
I'm sorry.
and I said, that must have been it. And I said to Danny, because the holes in his arm didn't mean shit.
Wow.
It was awful. It was awful. And thank God we never really got that close in the scenes because she's talking into a camera, I'm talking.
She hated you like me.
I was the most
You see
beloved
why
character.
he's so hated? Next.
My favorite, excuse me, I've got non-allergic rhinitis and I can't do anything about it. My favorite death scene is my own. Because that wraps up the whole story.
I was there for
I
that.
never saw Danny Steinman at all. I was thinking that, okay, I'm on my own here, aren't I? We got a cameraman, I can do what I want, really. And
I'm not here.
so it's really up to me. So I had fun doing that. And I thought that Danny was with them. But he wasn't doing anything there.
No, not with me.
Especially. He never did anything with me, especially. The one thing that's kind of interesting is that I always collect the scripts of things that I do. And they had taken the last 5 or 10 pages out of the script, everybody's script, because they didn't want anybody to know how it ended. And I had to sign papers saying I would not tell anybody how it ends. And nobody knew the ending of the film. I mean, I did, but nobody else did. So it was kind of unique. But I've nothing good or bad to say about Danny Steinman because I didn't work with him.
How was it he wasn't?
Neither did I.
He wasn't directing it.
I did.
Because I was second unit. He was with them.
Okay.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He was standing next to me, but I directed myself. But we won't talk about that.
Go ahead.
Well, my fond memories is Ethel.
Yeah.
It took every bit of everything to not laugh. Carol was working. I mean, we had so much fun together, and we just really bounced off of each other. And I mean, even after the shoot, Ethel Carol and I would write her on Mother's Day, I would give her a call, and up until really the last couple of years before she passed, I mean, I'd go over to her house for dinner occasionally, and I'm still friends with her husband, but she was just so much fun.
What did this mean?
That was just meant you were number one.
Because that's what she did.
She did that a lot. And so
Every still picture.
Every still
I've ever seen has
picture.
been.
Really, she was very brave to be on the back of the motorcycle with me.
She's a great actress.
And I know a lot of people don't know this, but Carol was a Broadway actress.
Yeah, she was a
before
great actress.
doing Friday the 13th.
And she was on MASH too, one
Yeah,
of my favorite TV shows.
her first TV show was The Flying Nun. And actually, she shared this with me real quick. She came from Broadway, and she was on The Flying Nun, so the first show. And she does her scene on The Flying Nun, and then comes off the set and goes back to her trailer. She's packing her stuff up. And the second AD comes in and goes, well, where are you going? She goes, well, I'm going home. He goes, well, you have other scenes. You have like different takes. You have close-ups, long shots, working with the other actors. She didn't know that because she came from Broadway like it was a play. You did your scene and you're done. So, you know, many blessings to Carol. She's always with me.
All right, well, this one's going to be kind of a fun one for you all. If you were given the opportunity to change your character differently, how would you do it?
I would have more lines. And less water. And better outfits. And much better hair.
What about the disappearing sweater?
That I'm pissed off about stuff. We don't talk about that.
You looked great. You looked great.
And better hair and makeup, but that's all. I guess everything.
Honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. It was the only film I did where I could do what I wanted. I just wung it while I was there, and I went home, and it was a blast. And I didn't find out till years later how popular it was. I had no idea. You know, I didn't know anything about conventions. This is my third. So I wouldn't change anything. I kind of fell into something that was cute and fun, and I was happy, very happy.
Is it me?
It's have fun with it.
I wouldn't change anything. It's just nothing I would. I sort of liked it. It was my first horror film, and I never done another actually. And I just had a lot of fun doing it, and it was kind of like, as I say, on my own, and just didn't have to deal with the director at all. I had help from other people, and it was fun.
Well, the only thing I'd change, okay, you guys know my fight scene?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know that? Ouch! I would change it. The stunt coordinator, Dick Warlock, great guy, was training John Shepard and I to fight. Makes sense. Okay, you're going to do this, he's going to do that, and he's going to do this. Okay. And when Dick did that, he actually connected with me and knocked me down on the ground. And, oh, hey, man, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, you know, you must have moved the wrong way. I didn't think I moved the wrong way. Then John and I are doing it, and John knocked me out. I asked him, hazard pay, please. No, seriously, he connected. I was seeing stars. Yeah, that's something I would have changed because it was just a little painful. And just a little side note, I was with Dick Warlock a couple conventions ago last year, and I told him, I go, hey, you know, Dick, you punched me out. Oh, I did not do that. No, Dick, no hard feelings, but yeah, you did. And you taught John Shepard to do it too. And he goes, he was acting like he was all pissed. He walked over to my table, grabbed my head, and he goes, I'm gonna oh, that's right, I already hit you. True story. It was cool.
Right. What did you all think about the Friday the 13th franchise before even getting your roles?
I knew nothing about it because I'm not a horror fan, so I'd never seen them. And when I got casted as the lead for part 5, I said, I'm going to need to see part 4 or something because I don't know anything about this. So they brought me into a screening and they showed me part 4 and I was like, okay, here we go. That was news to me. So I think the franchise is great, having done this and met the fans, and I appreciate the films more. But at the time, being cast, I had no idea what it was. So I'm just thrilled that everybody loves it.
I did Friday the 13th Part 5. I had never seen 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have seen Part 5 twice. Once at the wrap party, which you barely see because you're drinking and carrying on. And then I saw it at the opening. But then I went back and I watched all of them just to get a taste of the whole thing and how they progressed and moved along. And I'm just amazed at how the franchise lasted all these years. I mean, it really is striking, the effect it's had on so many people. I talked to kids that weren't even born when that film was done, like you. And with all the special effects and all today, they still go back to the old style of 80s slasher, which is, I'm glad they appreciate the campiness of it all. You know, and I think Friday 5 has become more and more popular as the years have gone by, because I think you can see the amount of fun everybody had in that film. Danny let people have a good time. He gave us a lot of freedom. So,
Awesome.
Well, guys, what's amazing is it's been 40 years. I was 41 when I shot it. Now I'm 80. And you guys are still coming to conventions, wanting to meet us, wanting to share experiences. It's so hard for me to believe. But the film was not well thought of when it first came out because there was no Jason. And there's the phony Jason, but there's no real Jason. So people kind of poo-pooed it. But then, gradually, people started to like it because it became a mystery. Became a whodunit. Yeah. And now it's much more well thought of than it was when it first came out, which pleases me. Yeah. And I get to meet you guys now.
Yeah.
40 years later.
That's the fun.
40 years later.
That's the fun. You guys are the fun. You people are the fun. You make it a blast.
You made one of the best slashers ever.
Bless you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like a visual soundtrack of my childhood. You know, and I pass on to my kids, and
Yeah.
that's how it's lasted.
Yeah.
Share it with them.
But the beauty of all this is it's created a memory for all of us.
Yeah.
And what's fun is when we do conventions, I hear some pretty wild stories how when the first time you saw Friday the 13th Part 5, not to change the question or anything, but
No, go for it.
you know, for me anyway, I saw the first Friday the 13th, that was it, done. I didn't know I was in a Friday the 13th till I was on the set, because my script said repetition. And Tom Morga walked out in a full jumpsuit with the cleaver, looked at us, and we all were screaming, "We're in a Friday the 13th, oh my God!" I remember being with Miguel Nunez at that point, and John Robert Dixon, and we were like, "Yes!" Oh, you know, it was a celebration time. But no, it's you guys, and we've created memories with you today, and it's beautiful. I mean, Jason does live on through us, and I never thought in a million years that this would, like the first 20 years I didn't do conventions. I didn't even know they existed. And then it just has snowballed into really feeling loved from you. It's amazing.
So my last question I had before I leave it all to you all is, I know you had mentioned you're not a big horror film fan, but if you were to be any horror icon, who would you be and why?
That's a good question. No one's asked that. That's a good one. Well, I thought of Robert Englund because I know him personally. So maybe I'd be a good Freddy Krueger in drag. Because I'm tougher than Robert, and I know him. And you can tell him I said that. I'm going to see him at Scarefest. I'll tell him to his face. He moved me into my first apartment in Hollywood, and he carried my refrigerator in by himself. And I'm still tougher than that. But that's my answer, Freddy Krueger.
You're taller too.
Close.
Yeah, that's a good question. You caught me off guard, but it did hit me. I would be Vincent Price in the original House of Wax.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, my brother, who's 7 years old, and took me to see that film. I was 8 years old. I never should have seen it at that age. And that son of a bitch was in 3D. It scared me to death. I used to go to bed literally, like most kids, turn down my bed, flip the light switch, and dive under the cover. And the thing that freaked me out the most was after he was burned in the fire and he was all disfigured. And then the girl at the end, when he was trying to get her, there was started pounding his face and everything fell off because he was Vincent Price again. And then when she was pounding his face, all the wax fell off, and it was, oh my God, it was so frightening. And dragging his leg down those London streets and the fog and the rope and strangling people. So I would be Vincent Price in House of Wax. That was a classic, just a classic.
About that, House of Wax was in 1953.
Yes.
It was direct, and it was in 3D. I saw it in 3D.
Yeah, me too.
And I swore he was under my bed.
Yeah.
But it was directed by Andre de Toth, who directed a 3D film. He only had one eye.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's weird.
How does-
Now, I did in Japan, I did Dracula, in Dracula. And I love that guy.
Yeah.
So if I had a horror character I'd love to play would be Dracula. Oh, one of the creepiest films I've seen is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
By Coppola.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
was that scary?
Yeah.
It's really creepy.
Yeah.
God.
See, for me, I've always been more of a sci-fi guy. You know, movies like Aliens. Oh, I watched it on the plane coming here. It got me in the mood. You know, going through a thunderstorm was really a lot of fun because the spaceship was landing on the planet as we were jiggling, and it was jiggling. I'm like, oh man, this is like being at the Sphere in Vegas. It's not that I could see myself as a particular character in a horror film. I would have loved to have been in The Thing with Kurt Russell.
Oh, yeah.
That movie, I can see myself as one of the characters in that movie, metamorphosizing into the monster, you know, face coming out of his gut, you know. That was scary stuff.
Alright, so I guess we have time for questions, so yeah, you can start us off.
Sure. For Dick, you kind of touched on it a little bit. What were your thoughts when you found out that you were going to be an imposter Jason? And then for all of you, did you expect the kickback and the resistance on that there wasn't a real Jason in the movie?
I didn't expect that, no. Since I wasn't a fan of Friday the 13th, I didn't really know much about it. My agent just said, the kids are going to love you. And, but I had no prior experience, so I didn't know what to expect.
I didn't know the storyline. I was given the pages by Danny, and I knew it was a schmuck pulling up, opening a truck door, and a schmuck blowing coke and getting killed. So I thought, I don't have an integral part in this story.
You went, ooh, typecasting. They need a schmuck.
That question was to
You
me.
know, she said she hated me then, but loves me now.
I
But
do.
I'm not sure.
We talk on the phone, leave me alone.
I love this girl. So I really knew I wasn't an integral part. So I just played. I just had fun. Yeah, I had no idea that I'd be sitting here 40 years later, which is the bonus.
again, not being Friday the 13th or any horror fan, I didn't know who Jason was or anything. Having done the role, I didn't do conventions right away. I was late to the game. I've only done them since 2013, 2012, something like that. But when I first came out doing them, the hate was like, there was love and there was intense hate. And they were also angry because it wasn't Jason. And I said, hey, I'm just the actor in this. Well, it wasn't Jason. I said, to me, I was being chased by Jason. So it was Jason to me. So every time people ask me, well, how did you feel? It wasn't an imposter to me. If you watch the film and I'm doing all that running for 2 months, it's with Jason.
Yes. Hey.
I have to agree with her. I mean, see, for me, I didn't know any difference. I really, when people started giving me crap about it, I was like, wait a minute. Who was the guy coming out of the grave in the beginning of the movie when Corey Feldman's watching?
No.
Does anybody have that answer? Who was it?
It was Jason.
Oh my God, I'm in a Jason movie! I didn't understand why people go, but Jason wasn't in that. Well, who was that climbing out of the grave? And, oh, okay, well, who killed me? Oh, it's a guy with a Jason mask. But still Jason in my mind. I mean, this guy's killing. You know, as the character, you don't know who's killing you. I had no idea anybody was even after me. You know, it just happened. So, but I didn't understand people's comments saying, oh, Jason wasn't in that film. Oh, wait, the guy coming out of the grave, and oh, that was Jason, and yeah. So, I didn't understand all the beef, and yeah, there was a lot of flack at the beginning.
I'm grateful.
Oh,
It's gotten much less now.
Unreal, but for me, I didn't do conventions for the first 20 years. So by the time I got on the scene, well, Jason was kind of, Dick was accepted, you know, it's Roy, you know, and Tom Morgan, it became a lot calmer. But on the streets at that time, so you're in that? Oh, man.
Well, I thank you all for helping answer the question that was directed to me.
Well, you
thought it
weren't-
was.
He didn't
you
ask
weren't
you what you
speaking
thought.
up. You
He
weren't
asked me.
speaking up.
It's possible.
It was like a two-parter, you know.
I was doing part 2.
Perfect. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Melanie, not being a fan of the franchise or not really being a fan of the horror franchise at all, what did it feel like to be the final girl?
So funny because of course, now I am a fan of the franchise because of the fans, because of all of you. No, really, you gave me the appreciation of the film, so I thank you for that. I didn't know what a final girl was. I knew nothing about any of that. So, and it's a good thing because I think I might have been a little bit taken aback or something, or pressure on me that it was that important. I was just playing, I was an actress playing the role. After the fact, all these years later, I found out that she's a final girl, and that means something. And it's a survivor, and it's a symbol of strength, so I'm grateful for that. It feels great now, but at the time I didn't know.
Anyone else? Yeah, go for it. Yep.
Melanie, where do you see your character and Tommy Jarvis after that, if you just disregard all the sequels?
Right.
And also, Dick, I would love to get a taste of your Dracula, if you don't mind.
Did I not promise you when you? I can't. This was in 1969. So I'm sorry, I can't remember.
That was good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all know that I was signed to do part 6, so I was doing 5 and 6. So was John Shepard. Yeah.
Ah.
And so I had a 2-picture contract when I went into part 5.
Right.
When we finished part 5, I had about a month off, and then they were sending me the script and discussing when we were going to start shooting part 6. As I get the script, it's not completely finished, and I'm seeing what's happening, I'm thrilled, and I get a phone call from my agent that Paramount called, and John Shepard is refusing to be a part of 6. And we were like this, you know, because the last scene of part 5 is John and I, right? They were going to pick it up right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I said, well, get someone else. You know, I want to do this. You know, they said, we can't replace John because you're too recognizable, the two of you. So we have to scrap the whole thing. So I was devastated. They had to pay me, but that's not the point. I wanted to do part 6. But that's the true story as to why it didn't happen. John backed out.
Looks like Paramount's been paying a lot of people lately. So.
Yeah, I didn't get as much as him. But, yeah, so, but part 6 was going to be very interesting. John was becoming the new killer.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get far enough in the script. I was living as far as I know. So, but I'm sure I was going to get killed. I don't know, so I just say the one good thing about not having part 6 is that I live forever.
All right, any other questions? Yes, you sir in the back. You can stay.
Besides the end sequence where they show you dead in the mask, besides the end sequence where they show you dead in the mask, was there any point where you did any of the scenes in full costume at all?
No.
No.
I had the mask on once, but it's not in the film. It was all Tom Morgan.
Any other? Yeah, you sir.
More of a statement. Part 5 had to happen, and all of you were legends, because that brought on Kane Hodder to do what he did.
Right.
And C.J. Graham in Part 6. But without your intervention from the first war, between that, it makes no sense. So Part 5 is one of my favorites, and I understand the angst because fake Jason. But the gamers love fake Jason.
Oh.
Do you think that Kane Hodder owes us something?
Kane gives me a hard time every time he sees me, which is a lot, and he always says, "You didn't have Jason in your movie." It's the same line. There was no Jason. So I'm going to tell him what you said, that without us, there'd be no Kane Hodder.
Spread the word.
I'm going to tell him that.
All right.
We're gonna give him your email address.
Get ready.
I promise you, he knows me personally.
Yes, okay.
And your home address.
All right. Any other? Do we have any other? All right. Good. Oh, go for it.
Bob, can we get a weather forecast for the evening?
And the forecast is cloudy in the mountains, sunny in the valleys, and snow flurries up your nose.
Yeah, go for it.
So what, were you really sniffing in that car?
You know, I was waiting for that. I will tell you what it is, and it always makes Melanie cringe. It was baby laxative.
Oh.
No!
And for a week later, I had the teeniest little poops. She always cringes.
Weather forecast keeps getting colder the
But
closer
I'll
you get.
tell you what, there was a lot of the real thing on the set floating around.
yeah.
From what I heard, I wouldn't know.
You should have just told Danny you wanted to go, method.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
geez.
would have been fine. Danny would have gone, hang on a second.
It was the 80s.
Oh, is it?
The only reason they didn't use the real stuff in the scene was they weren't sure if I'd do 2, 3, 4 takes. They weren't sure. The thing is, I did just the one take. But they figured don't use the real stuff because he may be overloaded.
Then he went into Miguel Nunez's outhouse after that.
You know, the trailer. Listen, I shot that scene in that trailer. That was reefer madness in there. Wow. The poor little Reggie.
Maybe that's why it was so popular.
Yeah.
Everybody was so happy.
Anyone else?
I do have a quick one. You guys probably know what I'm about to say. So this is a mini Friday the 13th reunion. In 2 weeks, we have one in LA with a lot more of you guys. How do you guys think about that one? And that there will be a lot more of a 13th cast.
Well, I think it's wonderful that the franchise is getting acknowledged and getting this huge celebration that they deserve. And, you know, everybody that can make it, please come out there, because we're gonna have 100 or so characters from all the 12 films from the franchise. So, and the directors will be there, the
We have
composer,
Kinnaman there,
yeah, and Sean Cunningham.
Yeah,
So
Sean- yeah.
it's a celebration of the franchise, really. And it's our only one, it's the first one in
And it's the only one that I don't want to be there. Yeah.
So it's like a big birthday cake to all of us.
Yeah.
So we're excited. We'll take a lot of pictures and we'll show them all to you on the internet if you can't make it. You'll see a lot of stuff on the internet.
Anyone else want to ask? All right, I guess I can have something for you. So what does it feel like to come to these conventions 40 years later and just hear all this impact from all your fans?
Yeah.
It must feel nothing but wonderful.
It is. It's
It's a
wonderful.
kick. It's just a kick.
Melanie's first.
It's a big,
No,
it's a big
Oh, I thought you
surprise.
were looking at me, I'm
It's a
sorry.
wonderful,
They all
it's a wonderful surprise, and we're grateful. I'll speak for myself. I'm very grateful for all the fans everywhere, because without them, there'd be no franchise. There'd be none of us sitting here talking to you. So it's really not about us. I say this all the time when I go to the shows. It's about the fans, really.
It
It's,
is.
you know, so we're thanking you.
Well, we thank you all for being here. Do we have any other questions, thoughts? All right.
Scare fast.
Yeah!
There you go. All right, perfect. So we are just wrapping up at 8 minutes. So I guess one of my questions I had was,
I thought you were done.
hey, I'm not done. I mean, if you want me to leave, I can leave, but it's your
See
call.
ya.
Yeah, bye.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you both. So, 40 years. 40 years.
Do you have to keep saying that? I let you get away with it the first 10 times. And now he just keeps telling me
corrected
40
me with
years,
30.
40 years.
Of course, Melanie's only 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
40 years. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like,
You know what the worst is? When people come who saw it originally, and they're bringing their grandchildren. This is my grandchild. Yes, the passage of time doesn't hit you until things like this.
The other thing, I don't mean to interrupt, the other thing that blows my mind, and I've said it before, with all of the effects that they have today, the
Yeah.
mind-blowing AI, I still see kids that love the Friday franchise because of the campiness of it all. They just love it. And I've seen things on Facebook where they talk about AI as opposed to the pretty archaic methods they had to use back in
In the
our
80s,
day.
yeah.
And they prefer that.
Because it had a certain feel, am I right?
Exactly.
There's a certain feel when you look at the
Exactly.
film,
Yeah.
and it was a time then.
Yeah.
I feel that way about The Exorcist. I don't like horror, but that's my favorite movie.
Oh, yeah.
And
Me too, it's great.
anytime I see it, it could be 20 years from right now, I have the same reaction.
Yeah.
It was a feel,
Yeah.
the suspense, yeah.
And
They
that's
don't make
why
it like that anymore.
I like House of Wax with Vincent Price rather than the new one. That whole feel is great. And they worked hard together. They really worked hard. It wasn't just, you know, in a studio with all kinds of computers and whatnot. There was a lot of work put into what they did. And I think that's what the kids appreciate. And I enjoy that.
And they helped you, they had you, the audience participation because you used your imagination. They didn't just shove it in your face right away, right? It was the anticipation, like The Exorcist, the
Yeah.
going up to the
Oh,
room. And I think Friday the 13th franchise, there was the anticipation of what was about to happen next, right? So you become so involved in it. And now I personally think it's just too graphic, and you just sit there and watch the gore.
Yeah, true.
The interesting thing is when it first came out, it was in 4:3. So when I'm there with my dead son, you can actually see him.
Yeah.
When they expanded to 16:9, he's gone.
I think what's interesting is when you go with 80s horror, you can easily get absorbed in it because it seems like it can be, even though it's a spoof, but it can seem like it can be real. Where nowadays with all, like you mentioned, AI and everything, it's just so graphic. I don't need to see somebody turned inside out and look at every little corpuscle, molecule of their body. What's kind of funny, I worked on a film this last year. It's not out yet, and I can't really talk about, but it's an 80s slasher style, and my head gets crushed by a werewolf. They used a watermelon. They peeled a watermelon, hollowed it out, and filled it with fake blood. And I have a little clip if you stop by where we are. And it's so funny because you see this boot on my head and I'm screaming, and then boom, you see just the explosion of blood and meat.
Yeah.
But it was a watermelon! I could laugh at it, but what's funny is that's how the 80s horror, they got away with whatever they could make it work and seem like, wow, that's cool. Where I get kind of grossed out sometimes because it's like way too real.
Yeah.
Anybody agree?
Yeah.
Back in the day with the practical effects, people had to get creative.
Yes.
And that's what's
Now
new.
you just push a button.
Yes.
They had to work. They had to work.
Lon Chaney was very creative.
Yeah, what's fun with these low budget features is they do work at just how we make this look like, wow, that's what's cool. I think it's
Without
great.
practical effects, you wouldn't have a junior there.
That's it.
And notice too, the people that were doing the practical effects and doing them well back then are still working today.
That's
There's
right.
a reason for that.
That's true.
That's right, that's right.
That's true.
AI's definitely taken away that creativity, that's
Yeah.
for sure, and that's a sad reality. So we're pretty much wrapping up, but before we end, do you have anything in the future you can talk about or promote? You'd like to share?
I have two films, and it's kind of a drag because you can't really talk. One, I had to sign a thing that I won't talk about it, but I will tell you it's Bradley Cooper and it's not horror.
Oh,
So,
great.
we shoot in January
Oh,
in New
no,
York.
that's terrific.
Yeah. And the other one is a suspense horror thriller that I'm doing. Doug Bradley is my boyfriend. I guess we are a couple. We're not married. We're a couple in this, and I'm actually the villain in this movie. When I have the name of it, I'll put it on the internet, and you'll see. So, yes, we shoot that also next year.
Nice.
All right, perfect. Well, that is about it, everyone. Let's give it the cast one more time. Give it up one more time.
Thank you for coming. And
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Glass.